What it is, Josh, your boy Jones, and welcome back to another episode of the Jones and Podcast brought to you by Jones and Sports. We make sports better. I know we were been gone for a couple weeks, had the holidays and everything, but we're back now. Football is getting crazy. We're getting towards the end, so we're going to have a lot to talk about that. We have a special guest, a friend of mine on X, my guy Larry. Pronounce it for me because I already forgot how to pronounce it.
That's all right. Just call me Larry.
Larry,
Yeah. The
Larry,
Shack. That's okay.
Sackler. He's going to be here to talk about his book and give us some fantasy football tips. So make sure if you guys are interested in that, you guys leave some comments, any questions for Larry, and he'll be sure to answer them, and we'll try to help out as much as we can. Obviously, our guy E is here. What's up, E?
What up?
He's feeling good right now. He's feeling good. It didn't look like his team was going to be
shaky.
No, but your team is in a good position right now, and my team isn't. So it is what it is. But guys, you guys know what to do. If you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and enjoy the show. So, like I said, we have Larry here today to talk about his book. Larry's book, let me get the name of it. It is The History of Fantasy Football and the Stories of the People Who Made It Happen, which is a beautiful title. I love that title. So, Larry, talk to us about what you got going on in the book and everything and the world with fantasy football.
All right. Well, then the title of the book is actually The History of Fantasy Sports and the Stories of the People Who Made It Happen. So it's not just about fantasy football, it's about all fantasy sports. And I started it a little over 2 years ago because for a long time, I look at the fantasy sports industry and I wonder, where did this all come from? You know, it started with ideas people had for games years ago. And now you got millions and millions of people playing all kinds of fantasy sports, from fantasy football, fantasy baseball, to cricket, fantasy Iditarod, fantasy wakeboarding. You know, it's like fantasy everything all over the world. It's a $24 billion industry. You got news services, stat services, Sirius XM radio, 24/7 channel. You know, it's like fantasy everything. So I thought, you know, nobody has ever written a book like this. Nobody really knows how this all happened, you know, other than, you know, little pieces of the story. And I didn't know. So I thought somebody's got to write a book about this. So I decided to. And when I started out, my idea was write the history of fantasy sports and tell who did what, when, how it all happened. And as I started researching and interviewing people, I started to learn things that were really, really interesting. Some were, you know, just fascinating, inspirational. Some would bring a tear to my eye, lots of humorous stuff. And I realized early on that I could write just the history of fantasy sports, and it would get the job done, but it would also come off as a very boring research paper. But as I was hearing these stories, I was like, all right, great. I'm going to write about the people and what they did and all these amazing stories, and I'll get the job done about telling the history, who did what when, but instead of being boring, it'll be really interesting. Right. And that's what happened. So that's where I got the subtitle for the book. The subtitle of the book is "And the Stories of the People Who Made It Happen." So, you know, the reviews are fantastic. People say it's easy to read, it's fascinating. There are people that have played fantasy sports for years, even people who've been in the industry for years, so they've never heard most of this stuff. They didn't know most of this stuff. So it turned out better than I could have imagined.
That's awesome. Like I'm very interested in this because I know I'm going to learn a lot about this book. I'm going to purchase this book. And I've already learned a little bit already, learning that, because my first question was, how much does this industry make? And you already answered it, $24 billion. That's amazing. And then I know that the stories on top of that have to be amazing because, like you said, you're not just doing football, you're not just doing basketball, you're doing all fantasy sports, which is something that I didn't really think existed. I didn't know fantasy cricket existed, and all that stuff. So I know those stories have to be very unique.
Yeah, and when I started researching, I didn't know 99% of what's in the book either. It's just I thought it was something I could knock out in 3 or 4 months, and that was crazy. I spent 18 months full time research and interviewing dozens of people, plus all the writing, and it was tough. It was a long haul, but what kept me going when I realized what I got myself into, what kept me going is just continuing to hear these stories. You go like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, oh my God, this has got to be in the book, And once in a while, I'd hear a story like that, and then a little while later in my research, I would find out it's not even true.
Oh, what?
I was like, oh, this is so great. This has got to go in the book. And then like 2 weeks later, I find out, oh shit, this isn't even true. This guy is either doesn't remember properly, or he's embellishing it, or a combination of the two. It's oh shit, this one's not even true.
Yeah, that's horrible. So that probably delayed a lot of your time and stuff like
Well,
that.
it took a lot. I'm talking to, interviewing people, asking them what happened 30, 40 years ago. Most people can't remember what they had for lunch yesterday.
True, very true.
And then I would I'd get conflicting information, and I would learn something, and then that would send me down 4 more rabbit holes. I could still be writing the book. I mean, I could have spent another 18 months, and I could have the book is like 300 pages. It could be 600 pages, but I had to make it I had to make it reasonable. Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
So my other question for you is, what is one of the stories that, like you said, there was emotions, that you felt from some of these stories? What was one of that really stuck out to you?
Well, one was, the first chapter of the book is about precursors of fantasy sports. Like I define fantasy sports as, kind of like modern fantasy sports, as it's based on real players, but they haven't accumulated statistics yet. So it's like fantasy football. You do a draft in August or something, and you're going to get statistics for the season that is about to unfold. Whereas there have been games such as APBA and Stratomatic, for example, that are based on professional athletes, Major League Baseball, NFL, real statistics, but for previous years. So you know what their stats were, and they're going to be really close to that again when you play Stratomatic or something. But so when I started the book, I thought I'm just probably mention like 2 or 3 paragraphs about Stratomatic and APBA being precursors. But when I started researching, first of all, I found out there were precursors going back to the 1800s, like tabletop games. And then when I started looking at Stratomatic and APBA, I found out some really interesting stuff. Like, first of all, there are people who've played APBA and Stratomatic. They started in high school. Some people started in high school, some people started in college. And they've been playing for like 30, 40, 50 years in a league. Wow. And a lot of these people, it's kept them together, where a lot of people would have drifted apart over the years, but being in a Stratomatic or APBA league has kept them together. And then to really get to your question, one of the stories that really stands out about being like emotional, there's an APBA league, APBA baseball league, where these guys have been playing. They're still playing even to today. I think now it's about the 45th year, but there's a guy in the league named Randy Walker, was in this league for 35, 36 years. And I think it was about 2018 or so, he got diagnosed with ALS. And everybody thought he was going to have to stop playing, including him. But his wife said, if you want to keep playing APBA, I'll do whatever I have to do to help you play. So she went to every game with him. She rolled the dice. He would tell her what players to put in the game or what moves to make. And she did this. And I think it was like the 3rd year of doing this, Randy was at the point where he could only communicate through an iReader and a computer, and his wife could read his lips. Wow. And in this condition, his team came from 2 runs behind in extra innings to win his first APA championship in 39 years in the league.
Wow. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
That
insane.
is special right there.
And there's other, and you know, that's like one of the real emotional stories. And there's other good stories of like Cal Ripken Jr. and John Miller was the Orioles radio announcer for a while, and they had to take they were taking a trip to the West Coast. They left Baltimore, had a flight to the West Coast, and somebody, I think it might have been Bobby Bonilla, I don't remember, it's in the book, but it might have been Bobby Bonilla. Somebody said, hey, bring your Stratomatic game. So they played Stratomatic on the flight from Baltimore, and it's a really good story about Cal Ripken started playing and got very competitive. And, you know, there's like all kinds of stories like this.
That's just so interesting to know that it goes back that far, because I wasn't introduced into that stuff until maybe high school, maybe even after high school. I don't even know, but it wasn't early. So to know that it was been going on for this long.
Yeah, it was kind of like fantasy sports just like happened.
Right. It felt like it came out of nowhere.
It kind of did in a way. I mean, you know, Stratomatic and APA are still like they're still like the precursors, you know, but the fantasy sports based on upcoming events. The first official fantasy football league was in 1963.
Wow.
And there were several people playing different primitive versions of fantasy baseball, you know, like going back a long time.
Wow. That is super interesting. I never knew it was around that long at all. That is super interesting. Another question I have for you is, obviously we have the popular ones, football, basketball, baseball, and things like that. What other sport did you gain some kind of respect or love for learning about about the sport through fantasy sports?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know if I didn't really gain any love for anything, but you know, what's interesting is there are 50 million people, 50 million adults in the US that play fantasy sports. And that doesn't even count underage 18. There's a lot of underage 18 that play also. Here's something that'll blow your mind, blew my mind when I found out. Fantasy cricket in India, there are 200 million people play fantasy cricket in India.
That is ridiculous. 200 and wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that I can get every one of them to buy one of the books.
Absolutely. You should just do a whole book on them. That would be amazing.
If I can get every one of them to buy a book, you know, I'll show up at the Fantasy Expo next year and buy everybody drinks.
Well, you can't buy 250 million drinks, but I get where you're going.
I'm not going to spend it all on the drinks.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow, that is insane. That is really insane.
And fantasy soccer is really big in Europe and South America.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with my next question, as far as where I mean, you mentioned India, soccer in South America. What other countries that you wouldn't expect are really into fantasy sports outside of America?
Well, I mean, a lot of them. You know, people play fantasy soccer in Italy and Germany and South America, and you know, that a lot of countries, most countries, have somebody playing some kind of fantasy sports. You know, and the book is about the entrepreneurs. It's a lot about the entrepreneurs that created all this. Okay. And so, you know, what happened is people would see a need for something like Ian Allen and Bruce Taylor. When they were in college, they started playing fantasy football, and they thought, this is great, but there's no information available. We should start a magazine. They started a magazine which became Fantasy Football Index, which still today is like one of the biggest fantasy football magazines. And other people saw a need for news services and stat services, and they created things that didn't exist, or they saw something that didn't exist, but they thought they could do better. People created games, commercial games to offer fantasy to people. There are a couple of guys in Canada that made fantasy hockey available to the masses in Canada through newspapers. And at their peak, they had 1 million people playing fantasy hockey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's the, so that's like the common thread of these people. And then, so like getting back to the worldwide thing, what happened is like a journalist from Italy was on a vacation in the United States, and he saw a book about fantasy football, and he read it, and he thought, geez, I should do this back in Italy for soccer. So he created a soccer game. The first, soccer game in Europe was this guy created it because he saw it in America. And the guy who started fantasy cricket in India he actually went to college in England, and he saw fantasy soccer, and he's like, geez, I can bring this back to India for fantasy cricket.
Right. That is so dope. That is so dope, because I was thinking how much influence the states have on other countries, obviously, when it comes to like certain sports and stuff. And I wondered if, like, would these other countries not shy away from their country and what their popular sport is in that country? But but I thought it would have been more of like, all right, they're watching American sports, so they're really playing more fantasy American sports. But to find out that they're actually doing more of what they're used to, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, they do, like, some places like American sports also. Like,
that was gonna be my question.
Yeah, like the company in India that the big fantasy cricket company in India, they have other sports too, like kabaddi and other unusual sports, and then some of them will play like the NFL, fantasy football. I did a podcast a couple nights ago with a couple of guys have a podcast that are in London, England, and one of the hosts plays fantasy football, American football. He's a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Nice. Pittsburgh Steelers. Share this to the groups. E, do you have any questions for him as far as
that he just answered my question? I was gonna ask him if there's like any countries that like dabble in the American sports.
No, that's super, super dope. Because I would have thought, obviously it's America. We're one of the most, if not the most popular country when it comes to sports and stuff like that. So obviously I'm not shocked that they dive into American sports, but I'm more shocked that they found their own niche and are doing fantasy sports in their own countries and those sports. Like that's super dope. That's super super dope.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's insane.
Because I would never think to.
Yeah, I wouldn't think there was such thing as fantasy cricket.
Yeah, so I think that's awesome.
All right, well, but cricket is so popular in other parts of the world. I mean, I don't know anything about cricket. I mean, I literally know almost nothing about cricket. People think I know about cricket because I talk about it. It's like, actually, I know almost nothing about cricket. But in other parts of the world, it's incredibly popular. Now, here's one surprise you. How about fantasy sumo wrestling?
Wow.
And there are the people who play fantasy sumo wrestling. A lot of them. I mean, there's not like a ton of people that play it, but there are people who play it, and like probably half of them. I'm guessing half of them are in the U.S. They're not all in Japan. Like half of them are in the U.S.
Wow. Okay, my next question, because now like I've got.
And I mentioned fantasy Iditarod before. Now, do you know what Iditarod is? Not everybody knows.
What's that?
Okay. Yeah, I should explain because not everybody knows. That's the Alaskan dog sledding competition where they
Alaskan
have
dog
dogs
sledding.
pull the sleds through the snow for
Yeah.
like, what is it, like a week or 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
So they have fantasy for that too.
What's up, First Class Media? And Mr. First Downs in the building. What's up, guys? No, wow.
Oh my God.
I'm literally blown away because I was not expecting to
Right. And
hear any of this.
let me throw in a story too, just kind of give you a little flavor of the book where I talk about, telling the facts and figures, but the stories make it interesting. So when people used to have to do statistics by hand.
Mhm.
Football, baseball, whatever. You have to get the newspaper, record all get the box scores, record all the statistics, figure it all out by hand. Then when computers came around, that allowed, some of the first people who got into computers thought, wow, I could use this for fantasy sports to do all the statistics. It would be a whole lot easier than do it by hand.
Yep.
So, the book covers like everything from beginning to more modern. There's chapters for like the statistic services, news services, first publications, radio shows, everything.
Yeah.
So one of the first statistic services was run by a couple in Pennsylvania, Jim and Gloria Berger. And what they did for baseball then is you get the Tuesday USA Today would have the American League statistics, and the Wednesday USA Today would have the National League statistics. Gloria would read the statistics from the USA Today, and Jim would put them in the computer, and then they'd calculate the reports and send out the reports in the mail to their clients Wednesday night.
Wow.
So that's kind of like the telling the history of who did what when. Okay, but here's like the flavor. The flavor is one Wednesday, Gloria went into labor with her first child.
Ooh.
They did not let that stop them from doing their job.
I knew that was
So in between contractions, she read the statistics to Jim and he put them in the computer. And then she's like, wait,
crazy.
and another one's coming on, hold on. Okay, it passed, and then she continued.
Wow.
So
Dedication is real.
they got the reports out on time in the mail that night. Their
Wow.
first child was born that day, and now 37 years later, their girl that was born that day plays in a fantasy football league with her dad.
That's
That's
cool.
so
That's
awesome.
dope.
That is so awesome. Full circle. Bring it all full circle.
Yeah,
That is so dope. Who would have thought you could get these kind of stories from fantasy sports?
yeah. It's like there's a million stories like this in the
Like,
book. They like I said, they're funny, they're inspirational, they're a couple bring a tear to your eye. I'm looking this way, like there's some kind of siren going off out my window here. No, it's not me. My house isn't on fire. They're not coming after me. But that's
I get
why.
that all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get that too. My window's right there, so sometimes I'll hear some sirens and I'll look out and stuff like that. So I definitely feel you. No, this is super, super
It's
interesting because
definitely interesting. Yeah.
I'm super interested, and I definitely. Where can we find this book, please? Where can we find this
well,
book?
it's on most booksellers' websites, paperback and ebook. Amazon, is easy, and Amazon is where you got lots and lots of reviews about it and more details, like you know about the book. So Amazon's easy, but it's available most booksellers' websites, paperback and ebook. And
Awesome.
even people who don't, even people who've never played fantasy sports would love the book because it's not,
Okay.
it's not about fantasy sports so much as it is about
Right.
all these stories.
Yeah.
And the Midwest Book Review said fascinating from start to finish,
That's
Mm,
and
dope.
that was a review by somebody who never played fantasy sports.
That's cool.
that is so dope. So, guys, everybody that's listening and watching, make sure you guys go find that book. I'm going to retweet it. I'm going to quote retweet it so that everybody can find it. We got to go click that link. Click that link. Click that link. So his reviews goes up. He gets some more money in his pocket. Let's get this book going because just hearing the stories without reading the book, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
already interested in the book. Like, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go. I've already heard about it from some of my friends that are in the Twitter thing, but now that it's been confirmed, I got to go get this book. I got to
Must
get
yeah. And
read.
if you don't buy it now, get it on your holiday gift wish list. You got
There you
Christmas.
There you
go.
go.
And it's a good
There
gift
you
too.
go.
If there are people you know who play fantasy that you want to get a gift for, it's a good gift to get to. It's like it's like there's a lot of fantasy strategy books and strategy websites, for advice websites. And if you find something that's good, helpful strategy for fantasy, you don't want to share that with your league mates. You're
Yeah.
trying to beat them. This is something you can give your league mates as a gift.
I love that because I was just gonna say, there goes your gift, your Christmas gift. That's what you're getting. It's coming in the
Hey,
mail.
I'm
Even-
already a winner in
I was
fantasy.
Yeah.
just gonna say he's already beaten me multiple times, so that's been struggle. But
So it's
what
nothing.
about you? Do you have a fantasy sports favorite? Like, do you like baseball more, football, basketball?
I like football and baseball.
Okay,
Yeah, I
and
used to play fantasy basketball too, but I stopped a while ago.
yeah, fantasy basketball is a little tough.
It's tough
It's a
because they play
little tough.
every day. It's like
Say
every other
right.
day. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was
Hard
just
to
I
stay on
liked it.
top.
It was just too much, and it would like it would overlap with football and baseball. It was
Yeah.
just too much. But yeah, but I liked fantasy basketball.
I too. I love all pretty much. I did fantasy baseball. I did fantasy hockey. They're all dope, but it's just those are almost
Football's just the
they're every
easiest
day
one to
actually.
manage.
Yeah, because you got games every day in those sports. So,
Yeah,
but football it's Thursday, Sunday,
Thursday
and
through
Monday.
Monday.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. So, I mean, outside of this year we even had some crazy games on some Black Friday and whatever we
yeah,
Saturdays and stuff like that. It's gotten
yeah.
weird, but any questions that you have for us as far as fantasy sports that you might think that we might need to know?
Not really, but what you were just talking about reminded me of one of the stories in the book about one of the first statistic services where the NFL used to be Sunday, and then there was Monday Night Football came along pretty quickly. So when you're running a statistic service years ago, it's like you got Sunday and you got a Monday night game.
Yep.
Okay, but then they had Thursday game, Sunday night, some other stuff here and there, and it was like a pain in the butt for this one guy that I interviewed that mentioned all this. It's like it just really like increased his workload a lot, having to now monitor all these games.
Yep.
Oh, and
That's
here's a great story for the.
Yeah. I bet.
This guy's got a couple of great stories. I'll just mention one. So he's monitoring. He's monitoring his stat service one night in like September. I guess it must have been when football had started and baseball's still going on. So he's monitoring his website to make sure everything's working properly. He's watching a baseball game, and in about the seventh inning or whatever, the starting pitcher, who's an all-star starting pitcher, gets pulled from the game for a relief pitcher, heads to the dugout, to the locker room, and I should have mentioned that the guy running the statistics service knew that this pitcher was in one of his fantasy football leagues.
He went and checked his fantasy.
Yeah, the key point I forgot to mention. Okay, so he knows this guy's in one of his fantasy football leagues. He's watching the game on TV, sees the guy get pulled for a relief pitcher, and within like 90 seconds, he notices this guy makes a fantasy football move for his team. He wouldn't have even had time to, barely get into the clubhouse. He's making a roster move for his fantasy football team.
Wow. That's how real it gets when it comes to fantasy sports. Like I'm the same way. Like if I don't got my stuff together, I need, no matter where I'm at. Hey, all right, you know what? Let's get it together. I don't care where I'm at. We could be in the middle of a football game. Yeah, I'll jump out of the
You want to know
sideline.
something crazy? I'm glad you said that. This past, like, right before football season started, I was playing in a tournament, right? the quarterback of our team mid-game was doing his fantasy draft. Like, legit threw a touchdown pass, got his phone and started picking his draft.
Absolutely. It's real. It's real. One of my goals, uh, probably not anytime soon, but one of my goals is to start diving into other fantasy sports and like really be consistent with it. Like do football, do a basketball, do NHL, do baseball, do it all and just see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my goals, but it's gonna be tough. It's going to be rough to do that.
You better have
Again,
a
that's
lot of
every
free
day.
time on you.
Literally some kind of
Right.
free time to get it done. And it take like you said, it's time consuming. So you
Yeah.
gotta be on top of it. But that's awesome. I have one more question for you. Throughout this experience, have you gained any knowledge as far as being better in these sports, in these fantasy sports, or is it just more in the stories and stuff?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
This book has nothing to do with strategy
Gotcha.
or how to play.
Okay.
So no.
So
Yeah.
have you learned through other people through their stories? Do that anyway? No? Same.
No, because I wasn't asking people like, what's your best advice for playing fantasy?
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing that I did learn that came through loud and clear, like all throughout the book, is it's amazing. It's such a fantasy sport is such a cultural phenomenon,
Yes.
and it brings people together. Like I mentioned earlier, people from high school and college have stayed together through the years by having a fantasy team.
Yep.
Co-workers are brought together by having fantasy leagues. You can have
Absolutely.
like the sales department and the accounting department that ordinarily would never interact with each other. They get in a fantasy league, now they're all talking to each other.
Yep.
You got a fantasy draft in Las Vegas. You got a plumber sitting next to the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. The two of them are talking like they're best buddies.
Yep.
Parents and children play.
Yeah.
It brings people together.
Absolutely. I think that's the greatest part
Yeah,
of it all is that it brings everybody together. You can have fun with it, talk some trash with it. Like me and E, we're usually in one every year. And we just have fun with it. There's people that I'd never known before that now I'm very cool with now because of it. So, like you said, it brings people together. If you love sports, fantasy sports, for me, one last thing that I want to say about it is when it came to like hockey, I loved hockey, but I didn't understand hockey like I do football or basketball.
yeah,
Doing fantasy sport hockey, I learned a lot more about hockey because you got to
You gotta
pay
pay a
attention
lot
if you
more
want to be
attention to
good.
it.
right, right.
Exactly. So I
Yeah,
learned so much more.
yeah, and you also learn about all the players.
Yes.
Whereas
True.
ordinarily, it's like who knows all the tight ends in the NFL? The people that
Exactly.
play fantasy.
Exactly.
Who knows the backup shortstop for the Pirates? The
People
people
that
who play
play fantasy.
fantasy.
Yep. We the people that don't get much recognition get recognition in fantasy sports
Yeah,
because you never know when you might need them. Never know. People are always in the waiver wire trying to figure out. All right, I don't know who this guy is, but I saw him light it up last week for this team, and we never
Shout out
heard of
Jerry
him.
Goff.
But stuff like
yeah,
that happens.
Shout out,
So
yeah.
I think
shout
it's
out Jerry
beautiful.
Goff.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So now we're gonna move into talk about our teams real quick, and then we'll give our picks for the week, and then call it a week. Um, so E, your Broncos coming off of a
My Broncos.
tough one, but
Crazy game.
since the last time we've potted, Broncos look pretty good, my man. They look pretty good.
Yeah.
So, what are your overall thoughts right now about your team?
I'm happy to be here. I've said it from the jump. I thought we was in a rebuild year.
Yep.
I wasn't one of those people. I see a lot of videos of that we wasted a pick. Bo Nix was a horrible pick. I think if you go back to before the draft, me and you was talking. I said I wanted Bo Nix.
Yeah,
I liked what I seen
you
in
did.
Oregon, and I didn't mind that he was a little older. That means he was a lot more experienced
Right.
than what
Oh,
was out there. I didn't want guys like J.J. McCarthy and stuff like that.
Queen's in the building. What's up, Queen?
So I was definitely happy with the Bo Nix pick. You know, I'm not a big Sean Payton guy. Like I've been saying, like
Absolutely, you know
it
that.
was time to go, but he's figured it out. You know, he's got the rookie quarterback playing amazing. Defenses outside of last game is looking pretty good. I think we like first in the league in team sacks. Like it's crazy. They are nasty.
Yeah.
We shouldn't, just the fact that we're in the playoff hunt this late in the season, like I definitely think we can make the playoffs. I'm not saying I'm happy to be here. Like, oh, we got a shot. We
As
were
of
a
right now,
blocked
I think you
field
guys
goal.
are
We
in
were
the.
a blocked field goal away from beating everybody's favorite Chiefs.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
outside of what the Baltimore game, we haven't got smacked.
Yeah. The Broncos are legit. Like, there's nothing I can say about it. Like, they are who they
We're
are.
there.
They're a part. Like you said, we thought it was going to be a rebuild, but you guys are ahead of schedule. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Like Texans were last year, kind of. And Sean Payton, even though I know you don't like him, I'm not a big fan of him either. But he got his guy.
Yes.
He's doing what he said he was going to do. So I can't. I wasn't a big Sean Payton fan. You obviously you just said you not rocking with him, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. He's
Yep.
got your team looking very good right now. They're very impressed. I'm very impressed. And the rookie of the year conversation for me.
Oh, I have him as the
Wait,
winner.
top three, because you can't forget Bow.
I have him as number one.
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels has not been the same since he got hurt.
I wouldn't put Jaden Daniels at number one, but Brock Bowers, I can't say his name. Brock Bowers, he's lighting it up.
But I look at it as this too. This is what I'm gonna say.
Tight ends usually aren't good their first year in the league either. Brock Bowers
Of course
is real
not. I mean, outside of what Sam Laporta, we haven't had like that rookie. But I look at it as this too. If you're saying a lot of people, if you look at the MVP race, are taking a lot of votes away from Lamar because they're not winning as much. You got to give Bo Nix more credit because he's winning and he's in the playoffs.
For sure. I think right now it's probably a little even because after
With
the
him and Jaden
performance.
Daniels.
Yeah, because Jaden just had a great
I think
performance.
the thing was too is Jaden Daniels got off to such a hot start that everybody pretty much said, all right, he is the rookie of the year.
Absolutely. It looked like it for a minute, but I said it on this podcast multiple times. Like, hey, Bo Nix is still in this conversation, and I'm not a Bronco fan at all. But I pointed it out, like, yo, I see this guy, and he's doing something over there. He's lighting it up. Win, lose, or draw, has some good performances. And obviously he's going to make mistakes. He's a rookie. He's supposed to make mistakes. So I don't, harsh on that. But he definitely deserves a lot more respect than he might be given. You said you are a New England Patriots fan. How are you feeling about your team right now?
Well, they've kind of sucked for a while. So I'm not paying real close attention. I'm just waiting until one day they get better again. But their rookie QB looks pretty good. He's pretty promising. Yeah, and I just noticed Quinga Premier likes the Packers.
Yes,
so
they just got some young talent though.
Well, I just want to throw in a little tidbit for my book for Quinga, for the Queen of Premier. A little tidbit for my book. The very first fantasy football league back in 1963, one of the members of the original league was Ron Wolf, who went on to become the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame general manager.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that name before.
Yeah.
And wow. So there you go, Queen.
Yeah, that was for Queen.
That was for you. That was awesome. But yeah, no, like you said, I think the Patriots are in a similar situation like the Broncos. Obviously, it's not looking the
They
same.
got some talent though over there.
And I like Drake May.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a guy that doesn't get talked about a lot, Christian Gonzalez in the secondary.
Yeah.
I like what the Patriots.
I like what Gerard Mayo has over there.
Absolutely. Like they're for me, every time new week comes up, I'm always saying when upset alert comes, I'm like, you got to think about the Patriots. They're one of those teams that you just never know.
In like every game
because of that defense and Drake May. So when you have a quarterback that's doing that at that young age, you guys should be able to be very very good in the next few years. Hopefully, if everything comes together.
I think if they just continue to build through the draft, they're going to be something to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the post-Belichick era. So, I would love to see how that's really going to turn out. And hopefully I've already heard they said they're getting rid of all that.
Maybe they could bring Belichick back as the coach. That'd be a wild story.
That would.
Imagine all the speculation about where Belichick is going to coach. What if the Patriots brought him back? That would be wild.
I heard the other crazy one.
What?
Belichick to the Raiders, and you know who owns part of the Raiders?
Yeah. To me, that doesn't sound crazy to me. As much as people are saying they hate each other, this, that, and the third, I would not be shocked by it at all.
Well, we know it's no secret he wants to return back to the league.
Yeah.
He definitely wants to come back to the league. For everybody that keeps putting the Cowboys out there, you guys are just trolling at this point. Stop saying the Cowboys because it's never going to happen.
Go to McCarthy. I'm telling you that right now.
It's not going to happen. It's just not.
Speaking of Cowboys,
okay, we can talk about the Cowboys real quick. I'm happy that we got a W against the Giants. Never worried about that. So good job there, guys. Congratulations. It's 7 years now straight that we haven't lost to the Giants. Very proud of that. Defense has looked better. Russ has looked better. Positive things I can say.
Shout out to Michael Parsons for finally showing up this season.
I'm not upset with it. The only thing I'm upset about is the people that are
thinking you're back.
Thinking we're back and we're gonna make this crazy run.
And it doesn't
chill out.
You got guys like Micah who's like, we're coming. Like, stop podcasting and play football.
I can't stand that shit. We got to be real. We got to be realists when it comes.
You got
to
just take it week by week.
We have Cooper Rush back there. No disrespect to him. He's a good quarterback.
So are you one of those guys who are mad that you're winning so much it's taking you out of those top spots in the draft?
So that's what I'm fighting with right now. I'm still in the fight of where how I feel about it, because watching them play better, even if we lose, I'm okay with that. See them play better. And then we get a win. Who did we beat? Washington. I was shocked by that. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
I was shocked by that. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming.
No one saw that coming.
Hey, even when that game was almost over and they threw that quick pass to McLaurin, they ran it, I was laughing. I'm like, that's just the Cowboys season right there.
And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that kickoff return by Kevontae Turpin, oh my God, that was ridiculous. So shout out to him though. But I was proud at the same time. Damn, I'm proud that we look better. We don't look like the worst fucking team in the goddamn league.
True.
I'm okay with that, But at the same time, as much shit that I give Jerry Jones, he has done a decent job with drafting. I will give him that. Not this past year, but in the past years, he's done a decent job with drafting. So I'm not going to give him hell there. Now, moving on past the Cowboys. The name of this episode is called Slice of Humble Pie. I have to take a couple slices of humble pie.
Can I take a guess?
Go ahead.
Buffalo.
That's one.
You owe them something.
Let's start there. Mafia My boy Mafia, if you in here, Bills Mafia, in here. You were going at it in the beginning of this year. I told you, if I was wrong, I would say I was wrong. Well, God damn it, on December 4th, 2024, I saw that I am wrong about the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Not only just the Bills, but Josh Allen. I owe him a separate apology too, because God damn it, the motherfucker is gonna win right now. Is in the MVP race, and he's number one. One thing about me is when I'm wrong, I will admit I am wrong. Bills Mafia, got me. Can't say nothing. You guys are legit. I can't say nothing, and I'm rooting for it. It's not that I'm hating on you. Like, God damn, I wish I was right about it. No, you guys are fucking really proving it. I said Josh Allen was going to have to prove it this year because he doesn't have all the talent that he previously did, and he's doing it. I can't say anything about it. He's putting all the world on his shoulder, and he's carrying it. So I can't say anything bad about Josh Allen. I can't say anything bad about the Bills. As of right now, you guys are killing it. Next team that I owe an apology to, and this one hurts. This one I don't want to do at all.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Goddamn Eagles, man. Goddamn Eagles. I'm not 1,000% as like I just did with the Bills, but I do have to say that the Eagles are better than I expected. They're better than I thought they were. And the reason why I have to give them their credit, because I thought they were going to crack. That's what I was waiting for. I was like, they're going to fucking crack soon. They're going to crack, and they're going to go back into their old ways.
They figured it out.
They figured it out. Saquon is the key to winning football games. This is our MVP. This is the league MVP right now. Him and Josh Allen are fighting for it. And Barkley, I've always had respect for it, even when he was a Giant fan on the Giants, and I hate the Giants, but I've always had nothing but respect for Saquon Barkley. I hate that he went to Philly, but he's doing amazing for them. He's doing amazing. He's exactly what they needed, exactly what the doctor ordered. They should have been doing this last year with Swift. Obviously, he's not the same athlete as Swift, but boy,
and
Nico, you got me.
And shout out to them for drafting well. Mitchell and the Gene, those two rookie DBs, way better than anything they had those last couple seasons.
Hurts not turn over the ball as much as he did last year. Like, I gotta give credit where credit is due.
They you gotta remember too, they played parts of the season without AJ Brown. They're playing without Devontae Smith right now. Like, they're doing their thing.
Credit where credit is due. So that is the only two that I have to give it to. And if I have another one, I'll come back and say something later or another time. But yeah, I had to say that because people are always, oh, Sean, this, blah, 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 blah. When I'm wrong, I am wrong. So you guys can clip this and have fun with it. But hopefully I don't have to come on here and do this again because it pains me to do that. Larry, what are your thoughts on MVP race and all those things right now? Just football in general, honestly.
Yeah. You broke up there for a second. My thoughts on what?
Thoughts on the league right now? Like, what are your
this season? Yeah,
thoughts?
This season in general.
I don't know. I don't know if I've been. Are there more rookie quarterbacks playing than normal? I was just wondering that. With
we have 4.
It seems like there's a lot. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of rookies starting, and they're doing well compared to usual. I mean, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels. They're doing well. Maybe we probably have a couple of rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, we have at least 2.
Yeah.
And another thing too, though, I know he's the big story because he was the number 1 pick. If you look at the numbers, Caleb's not having a bad season.
Yeah. People, we got to give him
If the
credit too.
Bears
He's
just
just
knew how to,
Right.
if the Bears just knew how to protect, if the Bears knew how to protect him, there would be we might be talking about a different rookie of the year race.
and then just late game mistakes too. Like they a lot of the
Hey,
games they
that
kill
coaching,
themselves.
that coaching staff was horrible.
They hurt themselves, and that's one thing you can't do is hurt yourself. Because if you do, you will pay for it. We've seen it multiple times, week after week. Um, so yeah. Now before we get into our picks, I have some smoke, and my smoke, and I've been dying to say this for a while. My smoke for all college and the NFL offensive coordinators, third down, fourth down, and late game situation play calling. It is disgusting to watch some of these play calls, most of these play calls. On any third down, short, fourth and short,
Quarterback sneak.
we just know you're running the ball. Everybody in the world knows you're running the ball. You just brought your big ass package in, all your big ass linemen. You run the ball still. The defense knows it. We know it. Everybody knows it. Play action or run something else. I don't understand how we're in week 14 now, and the same offensive coordinators are still running the same whack ass plays. We're in the year
It's a
2024.
copycat league.
Open up the goddamn playbook for short third downs and fourth downs. I am sick and tired of seeing this.
It's a copycat league, but they copycat what works. They're not supposed to copycat what doesn't work.
Exactly. That's what's pissing me off. It's like, guys, come on. Even some of the greatest offensive minds, Sean McVay, Andy Reid, whoever else you want to throw out there, they're all running basic dive to the left, dive to the right. Dude, what are we doing? We have some of the greatest athletes in the world. Open up the playbook, especially if you know you're going to go for it on fourth down. All right, let's give ourselves a shot. Let's not give it away. And that's basically what I'm seeing. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating watching it, even for teams that I don't like. I'm watching it, and I'm like, they're going to run it. And everybody knows it, and they're still going to run it. They know that the other team knows that they're going to run it, and they still run it. I'm like, dude, I've seen it in college. I've seen it it's just been bothering me for the past couple of weeks, and I'm just hoping that it changes very soon. Because in this football league that we're in, there's no way we should be seeing this type of basic play calling. We shouldn't.
True.
Especially by these minds. We should open the playbook up. Open it up. So, yeah, I had to get that off my chest because that has been killing me for the past couple weeks. I'm not going to lie. All right, now we're going to get into our picks. And before we do that, we tied on the last one that we did.
That was how many weeks ago?
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, yeah. So now we're going to give our picks. So week 14, we're going to all give our pick. Yeah, you are. So Larry, all we do is just give our picks for the week. Just whoever you think might win this week.
I don't even know who's playing this week. I haven't looked at it yet.
He's going to tell us.
I'm gonna say the Packers. I'm gonna just say I'm with Queen. The Packers are going to pull up the upset. I feel it. I don't know who they're playing. I don't know who they're playing, but I don't even know who they're playing. But I feel I'm gonna have to look up who they're playing right now because I don't.
I'm glad you said that. They play tomorrow. They
play
the
Detroit
tomorrow. Lions and Queen.
They do. Okay.
Queen might want to log off on this pick.
Yeah.
I'm taking Detroit. They top 2 team in the league for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm with Detroit too. I've been on Detroit's bandwagon the entire season. I'm not gonna
They
lie.
look like a real Super Bowl contender. Like
Even when they look bad, they look good. I mean, what's his
Jared
name?
Goff.
Jared Goff threw 5 picks and they still won. That's scary. That's scary.
Yeah.
So Larry, are you going with the Packers or are you going with Detroit?
Boy, I'm gonna have to go to Detroit. Sorry, Queen. I gotta go to Detroit.
Sorry, Queen. We still love you.
I hope he's right. I hope he's right, though. I wouldn't mind seeing the Packers pull off an upset.
That would be.
I think
really
it's
dope.
gonna be a very close game, though.
My guy Tip is in the building. What's up, Tip? Tip Major. He's a Raiders fan.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Shout out to my guy. Make sure you guys go follow my guy Tip. Next game.
Next game up, we got the Jets going to Miami.
Going to Miami. Oh, come on now. MIA. I know you go with MIA because we be there.
Yeah, we gotta be nice to them. We be there like a week.
Larry, who do you like in this game?
Well, we're talking just the winner. Or we're talking with the point spread.
Just winners.
Just winning. Oh, I gotta go to just winning. Definitely the Dolphins.
Okay.
That Jets team is horrible.
Pretty much, yeah.
Tip says, "What's up, Larry?"
Hey, Tip. Yeah,
don't get
the Jets were horrible, and they traded for Devontae Adams, and they're still horrible.
Yeah.
Jets just waiting for the season to end so Aaron Rodgers could get the fuck up out of there.
Yeah, that is disgusting over there, man. Disgusting. Who we got?
All right. Next, we got Atlanta at Minnesota. Give me Minnesota. Atlanta, I've been said it. Especially after we slapped them. That game last week, Cousins threw 5 picks.
Disgusting picks, too. Disgusting. I'm assuming that you're going with Minnesota as well. Or are you going with an upset, Larry?
Never. Hell no.
No, Larry. I'm asking Larry.
Yeah, I'll go with Minnesota.
Okay. Who's next, E?
Saints, Giants. Give me the Giants.
Saints. I'm going Saints. Saints, even though they've been losing a lot, they've been looking somewhat good, decent in the last few games. And you know I'm not going with anything Giants.
We have to be different. Come on.
I know. But I'm just saying, you know my answers. Larry, who you got?
I'm going to go to the Giants.
Okay. I like it. Who's next?
All right. Next, I think we all going to go the same one here. Carolina and Philly.
Yeah.
Though this one, geez, this one you ought to make it have to be with the point spreads.
Yeah, what's the? I think it's 3.
Even
3.5.
though Carolina's been playing very well.
That's like 12.
12? Holy shit!
They upset the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to go with the spread on that one for sure. Because I can definitely see Carolina covering. What's his name? That's another person we owe an apology to. Bryce Young. We were giving him hell in the beginning of the season. Benched him, came back, and now he's lighting it up.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got an AFC North matchup. The Browns at the Steelers. It's a division game, so you know it's going to be a tough one.
Yes.
See what the Browns did against us. If Jameis doesn't throw 2 picks, they win that game.
Yep.
And Jerry Jeudy finally was Jerry Jeudy from Alabama.
Boy,
think about it. It took 2 guys getting out of Denver to have career years. This is going to suck to say, but I'm going to take the Steelers. You know I'm anti-Russell Wilson, but
I'm going with Pitt as well. Their defense and Russell.
That's the main thing. That defense is like.
Yeah, TJ getting after it. Larry, who do you like in this one?
I got to go with the Steelers.
Steelers. Next.
The Raiders at the Bucks.
Bucks.
Tampa.
Baby. Larry?
Bucks.
Next.
Jacksonville at Tennessee. I'm gonna take Jacksonville because Mac Jones almost came back and beat the Texans last week.
I'm gonna go Tennessee on this one. Even though I know Levis is disgusting, he's been horrible, but that defense is keeping them in games, some games, not all games, but keeping them in some games. And Jacksonville has been horrible. Outside of, you're right, Mac Jones did almost bring them back, but I don't know. Something tells me this is one of those games that Tennessee can pull it off. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that Tennessee pulls it off. So I'm going with the Titans on this one.
Well, they're favored.
Oh, the Titans are favored?
Yeah, they're at home. They're
It's a home
favored.
game for them. It's a home game.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it wouldn't be an upset.
Okay. Who do you like in this one, Larry?
I'll take the Titans.
Titans.
I'm assuming Trevor Lawrence can't possibly be playing this week, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
nah,
no. There's
I
no
doubt
way.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That hit was horrible.
Yes, it was.
I wanted to touch on that too because it was horrible. Absolutely no excuse for that. Like you know what it is. It's a quarterback sliding. When you know it's a quarterback, just let up. You know that already. My issue is 3-game suspension. I thought it should have been 2. I thought 3 was excessive because what they said was they gave him 1 game for the hit. They gave him 2 games for the extra stuff that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he shouldn't have been going back and forth with fans. But that is not fans and the little brawl that happened on the field. But that's not something that he caused. Well, yes, he caused it, but that's not something that
I think, honestly.
Hold on. That's not something that what's the word I'm looking for? I can't find the words, but basically what I'm saying
He escalated.
is he didn't escalate that situation. He hit Trevor Lawrence, and of course, when you hit another team's quarterback,
Yeah, the line.
They're coming.
Come at you, yeah.
Right. So that comes with that. So what the league basically was saying was for him to just let the other team attack him. No. Yes, I know I messed up. I did something wrong, but I'm not about to just allow you guys to beat me the hell up.
Of course.
I'm gonna fight back. So I would have. My thought was they would have gave him 1 game for the after.
Yeah.
2 games was just too much for me. But
I think
they're setting an example, so.
And I think what hurt him is he's had a couple of other
That's true
done
too.
this year. He threw a punch in the Chicago game.
Well, there you go. There you go.
He hit Tony Pollard extremely late out of bounds the week before.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Like, yo, we can't keep finding you. We can't keep finding you. We got to show you. You got to sit your ass down and, like, you're
they're going to set an example. Yep. What's next, E?
All right. Seattle and Arizona. I know in the beginning of the year I was high on Arizona because I'm like, yo, they in every game, but now it's just like they're losing now.
Yeah, they don't look as
Seattle.
Seattle.
To me, the NFC West looks like the old NFC West now. That a team is going to get a playoff home game with a 500 record.
That division is tough right now. That division, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty tough. I think the winner of this game gets first place. Is in first place, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, because obviously the 49ers is trash. And they're fighting for their playoff lives.
I think the Rams got a better record than Arizona.
I think they might be tied the last time I checked. I'm not sure. But this
week
is important.
The Rams in Arizona are 6-6. Seahawks are 7-5. 49ers are 5-7.
Okay,
Rams
so
have some
yeah.
sneaky wins this year. Remember,
hmm So,
so I'm
what was
gonna
the
go
game
Seattle
again?
though.
It's yeah. Okay. Damn, this is a tough one.
Seattle and Arizona.
It's in Seattle.
Nope, it's here in Arizona.
In Arizona.
So I'm gonna go with Arizona then. That's gonna be
Okay.
the deciding factor for me. Who'd you say? You said Seattle.
Yeah, I got Seattle.
Larry, who do you like in this one?
I'll take Seattle.
Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong in this game. This one, they're two good teams
Yeah, it's good.
battling up
This
and
might be
down.
an ugly game too.
Yeah. What's next?
Buffalo at the Rams. I'm going with Buffalo.
Buffalo at
They are on a
Rams.
heater right now.
Yeah, it's hard to go against them right now. Larry, you agree with that, or are you
When you
going
got a
with me?
guy playing like the MVP,
I'm gonna
you have to.
I'm gonna take the Rams in an upset.
I like it.
Ooh,
I
good
like it
one.
because I honestly kind of wanted to do that, but I was like, I've been going against the Buff all year, like, and I just gave them credit, so
But you
I feel
pick
like I
them and
kind
then
of
they
had
lose
to.
now. I feel
No,
like
but
you're gonna pick them, they're gonna lose now.
but also the Rams, they got their guys back, so slowly but
Yeah, they're
surely,
starting to get they got
they're a
healthy. Yeah,
scary team. They're a scary team. Who else?
we got the Bears at the Niners. I'm taking the Bears. As crazy it is, the Niners are too beat up.
Yeah.
You just lost Christian
Chicago?
McCaffrey for the season. Did you see that injury in San Fran? Did you see
Yeah,
that
it was
injury by McCaffrey?
yeah, it was bad.
Did you see his calf like explode?
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah.
Shit. Part of me kind of wants to go with the 49ers as much as I hate them. I feel like they could
Oh
pull
no, they definitely could
a
win.
shocker.
Brock
I'm
Purdy, George Kittle.
going with the 49ers. Who you got, Larry?
49ers. I mean, they don't have McCaffrey, but they haven't had McCaffrey all year for the most part.
That's true. That's
And
true.
even
Good
the
point.
last couple of games, he didn't look. Even before he got hurt again, he didn't look like
I
Yeah,
feel
he
like
hasn't.
the usual McCaffrey anyway.
I
Yeah,
feel like they
that's true.
rushed him.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, he carries a long load,
I mean,
a
it
heavy
could be that
load.
they rushed them. It could just be that coming off of that injury, you're not the same, at least for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And that's not an injury that you necessarily come back from 100%, like some other injuries you might have.
Yeah, that's very true. To the Niners too. Nah. Who's next?
All right. Sunday night game. The Chargers versus the Chiefs.
Ooh, this is the second meeting of them. Chiefs won by a point or something like that last time, I think. I think it was a close game.
And you look at their last couple games, they could have lost a lot of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the whole season, but
Could have
that's
lost the Raider game.
yeah, I'm going
Could
with
have
the
lost that
Chiefs.
Raider game. Could have lost to the Panthers. We could have beat them. I'm taking the Chiefs because I need the Chargers to lose anyway.
Oh yeah, for playoffs.
Yes.
Larry, who do you got in this one?
I'm tempted to take the Chargers, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
I'm tempted as well. I think we're all tempted to go with the Chargers because they look good in certain aspects.
Yeah.
Defense is legit. I think they're a top 5 defense, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, and Herbert has looked a lot better this year, healthy. So I love that. And Monday night game, what do we got?
The Bengals and Dallas.
Oh, oh man.
I'm taking the Bengals. I'm sorry. They need
As
to win
easy
more
as I
than you
want to
guys.
say the Bengals would easily win this game, they've been losing some bad games.
They don't have a defense.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Bengals still.
And especially the reason I'm taking them too is you guys play worse at home.
Yeah, we're bad at home. we're bad. But one thing, oh, that's another thing I want to say. Last thing is after this year, finally get off of this Joe Burrow thing. Yes, we're going to give him credit. He's an absolutely great quarterback, but we can't every year put him on top of all the other quarterbacks that had been more successful than he has in the past few years. We can't give him all the credit due to 1 year. We can't do it anymore. I think it's time to say, all right, Joe Burrow, you got to start getting back there now. You got to get back to the playoffs. You got to get back to the AFC Championship. You got to get back to the Super Bowl. And then we can really stamp you as that guy.
I think the problem is they don't do a good enough job building around him.
They don't, but
their defense sucks.
Their defense is horrible. Their line still sucks.
I mean, the quarterback can't win all by himself.
Yeah, that's the problem I think they have. Like, we know what he's capable of. If you look at a lot of the passing numbers, he's up there.
But that's my thing. We know that this team has a bad defense. It's not a secret, and it hasn't been a secret for the past couple of years. Yet we still point them as one of the best teams every year.
Oh, no. Team-wise, yeah, we got to take the Bengals out of the team-wise.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Top AFC contending teams, no. If we're just talking about top quarterbacks, yes, Burrow's in there. But if you're talking about, like,
exactly
contending teams, the Bengals are absolutely not a contending team.
Right, because they always do that, and it's just we got to stop doing that for the Bengals. Yes, we get it. Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, no doubt about it.
I know why we talk about it, because we know Burrow is one of the few guys that can go and match up with Mahomes.
Yep.
But right now, we know they're at the top of the hill right now. I see maybe 2 or 3 teams that can compete with Kansas City, and that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I agree. Larry, are you going with the Bengals as well in this game?
Yeah, I will.
Absolutely. So I'm not mad at it. The Cowboys, hey, it's a throwaway season for us. So, yeah, it is what it is. But
for your sake, just be competitive and lose.
That's it. Just be competitive and lose and see what happens in the draft. And that's it, really. Larry, please let the people know where can they find your book, where they can find you on social media as well.
I'm on, oh God, it pains me to say X. I refuse to say X and post for a long time. Now I'm starting to say it. All right. You can find me on X at Larry Schechter. And the book is on most booksellers' websites, paperback and ebook, Amazon's, maybe the easiest to get it. Buy it or get it on your holiday gift wish list.
There you go. Absolutely. And I'm going to be retweeting that. So everybody that is interested in buying that book, just find me. I will have Larry's mention his account on there, and I will have the link to the book, and I will have the name of the book as well, the cover of the book on my page as well. So if anybody is interested, you guys can find it on my page, on Larry's page. Please get to it. Find anybody that's interested in fantasy sports. That's a great gift to get them for Christmas coming up. A couple weeks left. So, Larry, we want to say thank you so much for joining us today. You were an absolutely great guest for us. And the stories, the information you gave us today was absolutely great. So Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you guys. And other than that, appreciate you guys at home. Have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. It's your boy Jones. Larry. Peace. Jones of the Sport.
Okay. Bye.